African companies pursue win-win cooperation. Stay tuned, it's time for business. CIPLA Uganda is set to invest in the production of 9 products to tackle different health issues of cancer, sickle cell anemia, among others. The company board disclosed at the 2022 annual general meeting where they announced 2 shillings per share dividend.
I was so ashamed.
The demands and dynamism in the health sector has attracted CIPLA Uganda, a pharmaceutical company, to diversify its production without limiting to only 3 main health issues of HIV, hepatitis B and malaria.
A greater need to have a quality product in private sector and our entry into private sector, along with a greater focus on local manufacturing of products. We will introduce new products in next 5 years in the new therapy areas like anti-infectives, pain, CB diabetics, gastro, and anti-cancer and sickle cell.
In the company's 2022 annual general meeting, it was established that all legal requirements have been met to establish a special facility to commence the production of 9 new products to handle different health solutions.
We have obtained all necessary approvals from the local regulators and authorities and completed the detailed engineering. And we are in the last phase of finalizing the negotiation and allotment of contract to begin construction of this facility.
The pharmaceutical company has registered local sales increment in the ending year 2021-2022 of 3% and the local sales increment by 19%.
Revenue grew from 261 billion to 267 billion, representing a growth of 3%. When you compare our revenue and where we started from at the time of listing, our compounded annual growth in revenue has been 7%.
A 2 Ugandan shillings dividend per share has been announced, which is based on the gross profit margin increment of 27%.
The board, upon consideration of the dividend policy, determined that the most appropriate distributable amount was 30% of the earnings per share, and 30% of earnings per share of 6.59 was 1.9, which was rounded up at 2 shillings per share for the dividend.
The company's profit after tax has increased to 24 billion Ugandan shillings in this year under review from the loss of 11 billion shillings over 2020-2021. This is the first time CIPLA Uganda Limited to give dividends to its shareholders since it was listed on the country's stock market. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC News.
But I needed to tell someone.
Technology has the potential to transform access to justice and improve the entire legal system. If well leveraged, digital tools can enable justice institutions optimize and refocus their business processes, improve service delivery, protect human rights, and democratize access to justice.
The Justice Law and Order sector under the Governance and Security Program, in partnership with the Innovation Village and other stakeholders, have engaged on a wide range of issues on how technology can be leveraged to improve access to justice.
There is a challenge of resistance to change. Legal institutions by design, even law practitioners by design, are trying to be a little far away from the ordinary man. It can be also just a mindset of intimidation. People are afraid of talking to lawyers, approaching judges, approaching government offices because, hey, I'm not quite sure if I'm safe talking to those people, or I'm not sure if they'll listen to me. I'm not sure if I can address my point easily. But if we transform digitally, it means that even in the safety of my home, in my sitting room, using my phone, I can get my point across and get the support through the formal system like any other citizen who is able and confident to walk in can.
The meeting in Kampala sought to create workable solutions, enhance partnerships and synergies for a digitally driven and integrated justice ecosystem. Worldwide, the justice system has been designed in a way that makes access to legal processes difficult for a regular person.
So we're trying to create digital solutions that everyone can use, that everyone can relate to. Just like everyone uses mobile money in this country, we want to make sure that digital access to justice solutions are optimized and designed for the ordinary Ugandan, so that at the end of the day, everyone can have meaningful access to justice, irrespective of where they are, where they come from, or their socioeconomic status. So it's all about affordable access to justice. Technology is just going to help us to achieve that.
Technology is increasingly being pitched as a solution to bridge the legal processes gaps.
And so what are we doing? We are appealing to government for an increase in funding so that the resources that we have can be leveraged to improve processes, and in future, what government is spending on addressing cases, if we bring down the crime rate, bring down the dispute processes, and the people disputing over ownership of property and so on, that resource will be saved and used later on in infrastructure in other places.
Whereas challenges and bottlenecks exist in the adoption of technology in Uganda's legal and justice system, efforts are being made by different players within the sector to ensure that digital innovations such as video conferencing for court hearings, e-case filings, digital exhibits and evidence presentation are increasingly used during legal processes. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
COSASA Committee of Parliament has scrutinized the academic papers and job qualifications of Uganda Airlines CEO Jennifer Bamuturachi. Besides checking the staff qualifications, COSASA also assessed the airline's operations. Let's have a look.
Even, legally speaking, you are a different person.
We proceed as Jennifer Bamuturachi Musime.
In the documents acquired by the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authority and State Enterprises, Uganda Airlines appointed to the position of CEO Jennifer ARNOLD Lenkai. According to the documents obtained by the committee, Uganda Airlines Chief Executive Officer Jennifer Bamuturachi Musime went through a process of change of names to Jennifer ARNOLD Lenkai in 2017.
I did it then, now I wouldn't do it. It was something I don't want to change my name anymore.
Having attempted to change names 5 years ago, Bamuturachi told the committee to treat the information as null and void, as she did not complete the legal process of change of names after having changed her mind, a process she has never retracted.
Did you retract it?
I'll have to find, because I have a new lawyer now.
How did you retract it?
I spoke to my lawyer to do the process, so I'll follow up.
Do you know if the lawyer did the process?
No, sir, I'm not sure, but I'll find out.
However, this gave the committee hard time on carrying out the investigation for fear of the legal implications.
Before we proceed with her, we should ascertain who she is legally. Otherwise, we could be here dealing with someone we cannot stand tomorrow to confirm that this is the person.
The legal process was not concluded. So you're discussing when the legality is not concluded, sir. So I repeat, Jennifer Bamuturachi Musime.
Although in some of her documents she appears as Jennifer Bamuturachi, it was further established that Bamuturachi does not have all the requisite documents supporting her qualifications. Having attained a degree in social works and social administration in 1994, Bamuturachi could neither produce her academic transcript nor senior 4 certificate.
We are in 2022.
True.
And you're saying that Makerere could not find, up to now,
apparently they cannot,
your transcript.
No, they cannot find our, for our year, there's been a lot of movement.
Just like Bamuturachi, most of the top officials at Uganda Airlines lack the required qualifications as per their job descriptions.
No, people who are running it, they are not qualified, they are involved in shady deals and so on, because we've seen other top management officials who don't have the requisite qualifications.
Before being appointed CEO Uganda Airlines, Jennifer Bamuturachi was the Director of Commercial Operations at Uganda Airlines. During her time in office, Jennifer Bamuturachi Musime is said to have caused several losses to the airlines, having participated in awarding contracts to a Bavata company without competitive bidding.
But you said you had no connection. You've never had any connection to a Bavata?
Not legally, sir, because you asked if I own it.
I didn't ask if you own it.
What did you ask, sir?
What do you remember me asking?
You asked me if I had anything to do with it.
In 2019, a Bavata company was awarded a contract of ushering in Uganda Airlines publicity and marketing for the airlines, a connection Bamturachi participated in as discovered by the committee.
There was conflict of interest. Madam Jennifer has got a connection to a company called Abavata. They were handpicked. Why were they handpicked? Because the commercial director had an interest in that company. So
she said to have caused Uganda losses of over 2 billion in the said bid. According to the Auditor General's report, Uganda Airlines made a loss of 102 billion in the first year of operations, 164 billion and 232 billion, respectively. The committee continues with the inquiry into its irregular operations Tuesday next week. Susan Naung and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for ABC TV.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority has released the half-year performance of the sector. According to the regulator, the economy continues to harden amidst challenging macroeconomic fundamentals with heightened cost of living and rising inflation.
Uganda's economy has been contracting since the beginning of the year, a situation exacerbated by reduced spending capacity by majority of the populace. This trend is indirectly affecting the insurance industry, whose stability banks on economic growth and spending. In the first half of this year, the industry recorded a revenue improvement of 18.6% from 600 billion shillings to 712 billion shillings compared to the same period last year.
For the last 6 months, that is January to June 2022, we recorded premiums of 600.105 billion. And this was the performance for 2021. Now for 2022, we have registered 711.63 billion. You can call it 712 billions were underwritten as gross premium.
Non-life businesses generated 406 billion, equivalent to 57% of the aggregated industry written premiums, whereas life businesses generated 34% of the aggregated industry written premiums.
We have observed that the gross claims paid out have increased, and this to us is a good sign. From the underwritten premiums I told you about, the 712 billion, 243 billion was paid out in claims. And this is compared to the 193 billions which had been paid in the Q2 of 2021.
The rest of the classes combined accounted to 9% of the aggregated industry written premiums. Dennis Ikoa for UBC Business.
Agribusiness Development Center, in partnership with the Dutch Embassy, DFCU Bank and Rabo Foundation, have launched a business accelerator program targeting youth and women-led agribusiness enterprises, among others, in a bid to build sustainability in the sector. Agribusiness Development Center has launched a business accelerator program targeting various agribusinesses in a bid to offer them business scaling opportunities to work as enablers of market attraction and funding for growth and sustainability.
The innovative platforms that we are planning for this first cohort may not be as active. So we are taking a hybrid approach where we do the physical training, the classroom, and then we also get out of classroom and go and physically cite and see examples of how other women have worked.
Due to various growth hindrances in Uganda's agribusiness sector, ADC and partners project that the Business Accelerator program will enable more enterprises formalize, thus enabling them scale up sustainably.
We have the potential to become the food basket, not only for East Africa, but also for the wider Africa. We can excel in various value chains, agri-value chains, especially when it comes to fruits, cereals, and vegetables, among others.
52% of Uganda's agricultural labor force is made up of women, whose challenges when growing their enterprises are often not addressed especially in rural areas.
The lower levels of the value chain, we see a lot of need to empower women in terms of basic bookkeeping, understanding their financial management, so that they can eventually build and structure a corporate governance that will enable them to sustain their businesses as they grow.
And in all the programs that we do, we also look at access to credits and finance and how to improve on that, and also how to improve, how to use innovative kind of fintech kind of solutions, make it easier for farmers with apps. And
this Business Accelerator program intends to build their capacity and investment readiness to access financing from investors and financial institutions. ADC is a brainchild of Rabo Foundation and DFCU Bank, which has invested over 300 billion in various value chains of Uganda's agricultural sector through the organization. The program cohorts shall be thematic to consider varied hindrances to agribusiness growth, as well as to harness opportunities for business acceleration. WADULO, ARNOLD, UBC News in Kampala. Two MOUs facilitating open trade between Uganda and Somalia were signed at the Uganda-Somalia Investment and Business Summit in Kampala. Beyond security ties, the two countries share bilateral economic prospects whose potential through the inaugural summit are to be leveraged by both states. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has pledged to support Somalia's joining of the East African community, citing that it has all the geographical, social and political requirements it needs to be considered as a member state.
It's good that Somalia has applied again, and definitely we support it because it has all the qualifications, which are three. First of all, you should have a border with one of the countries of the members of the East African community, and Somalia has got a border with Kenya. Then you should have a private sector-ready economy, and then you should be a democratic country. And I congratulate you for winning the recent elections. So definitely we shall support Somalia.
The business community of Somalia sees joining the EAC as an opportunity to open up its potential to compete among its counterparts on a better position to leverage the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement of 2018.
Somalia has a clear understanding of the shared benefits that come with the working together, and we are ready to deliver the strong leadership and commitment required to contribute to boosting intra-regional trade and investment. In my meeting with His Excellency President Museveni and other East African head of states in Arusha, I underscored that Somalia belongs to the East Africa.
The climax of the event saw two MOUs signed between Uganda and Somalia to promote investment in agriculture, the pathogenic industry, ICT, manufacturing and services, while opening up trade opportunities between both signatory governments and their citizens.
Your Excellency, some items and issues that we feel need to be addressed by our both partner entity governments. The security assurance. Your Excellencies, I'm sure you agree with the well-known fact that capital is a coward. And we always say that the biggest coward is capital, because once it senses a threat, it's always the first one to leave the room.
And I'm happy to report early this month, one of our banks has made an entry into the Ugandan market. We applaud that, and we understand this is the first time Uganda has ever made Islamic banking within its statutory framework. However, we would like to note there are few articles or laws that our business community have noted. We would really love to communicate the same via our diplomatic channels so that the government of Uganda can look into that to fully operationalize.
In 2014, the private sector foundation recorded Ugandan exports to Somalia at $14 million US, but these have since reduced due to long-standing political instability in the Horn of Africa. WADULO, ARNOLD, UBC News in Kampala. Government is in its advanced stages of restoring power supply at Isimba Hydro Power Plant, which was shut recently. The temporary shutdown has prompted proposals of importing electricity from Kenya to stabilize power supply.
On 8 August 2022, the Kayunga-based Isimba Hydro Power Plant was abruptly shut down by government, affecting several communities which remained without access to electricity. The 183 megawatts hydro plant was recently launched by President Yoweri Museveni and last week shut down after floods submerged into the powerhouse, affecting the turbines. Minister for Energy and Mineral Development Ruth Nankabirwa has updated Parliament on the government interventions to contain the situation.
We are optimizing the generation capacity of available power plants across the country.
Nankabirwa defends the shutdown, saying it was inevitable to enable maintenance to take effect and to be completed within 9 weeks.
Detailed investigations are underway, and once a comprehensive root cause analysis report is finalized, my ministry will take appropriate action based on the findings and recommendations.
On top of importing power from neighboring Kenya, government has managed to stabilize the electricity supply by also tapping 20 megawatts from Kakira power plant to the national grid.
The plant flooded by water which ingressed into because of the works, maintenance works, not because of the too much water, rainy water. Please read the report.
Please, colleagues, after we have imported and after the shutdown, may I know the impact, how it will affect the consumer? And that's where my interest is, because for me, I'm not an engineer, but for me, I'm a consumer.
The Isimba Dam debate creates a complex desert of queries by the members of Parliament on the status of electricity supply in Uganda, including the rural electrification project.
On the international scene, Chinese companies are setting up in South Africa as the two countries pursue win-win cooperation. First Automobile Works is one of the successful joint business ventures. More on this report from CGTN's Lindy Ntogana.
The FAW assembly plant is situated within the Kucha Industrial Development Zone. Since it was launched in 2014, 9,000 vehicles have come off the assembly line, supplying over 10 countries in East and Southern Africa. Let's take a look. China's FAW, which stands for First Automobile Works, has found a home in South Africa. The Kucha assembly plant is a $40 million investment. It produces about 200 trucks a month and has been gradually increasing production as demand rises. The trucks are custom built to tackle Africa's tough terrain and deliver for the continent's demanding customer.
Every area, every community has its own specific demandings, and also the road conditions, load conditions, working conditions are differed. So this is why we are here and why we are trying to producing the products for Africa and also in Africa.
The FAW truck perhaps symbolizes the strength and durability of the relationship between China and South Africa. China's oldest and largest vehicle manufacturer produces South Africa's premium range of tough and durable trucks. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Well, what makes this truck very special is that we've launched it 3 months ago for the first time in the South African market. This is our creme de la creme. So this is the top of the range of our units. This is the J86-500. So it comes in the tier market of a truck tractor, and we sell it as one of our top units.
FAW in South Africa, however, started as an export and sales operation in 1994. The brand is now a major player in the SA truck market, making a significant contribution to the country's logistics sector and economy.
Eldoret right now, all jobs has been stopped. There is nothing going on. And those are the days also, there are lots of panics. People are complaining because they have no peace. They don't know what outcome we can gain from this one, you know. And what we are urging for, so that our life can be in a peaceful manner, is after this decision that you are making today. Yes. And we'll be much glad to hear what Chebukati is studying, so that our country can also carry on with the businesses.
In our Sounds of Business, we take you to the lakeside city of Kisumu, the third largest city in Kenya. Kisumu is located on the shores of Lake Victoria and serves as the capital city of Kisumu County. Enjoy. Now, all eyes have been on Kenya in the recent days due to the general elections. We are glad that the election process went on peacefully despite some controversies. It is a thumbs up for the citizens of Kenya, and we look forward to continue collaborating with our biggest regional trade partner. Otherwise, thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is WADULO Mark Arnold. Stay tuned for the weekly business roundup every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. From the team, we must say good night.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Forget last season. Forget the ooh news, and odds. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed, and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
On the 8th of August 2022, the President of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, arrived in Uganda for a 3-day official visit at the invitation of President Yoweri Museveni. At Entebbe International Airport, he was welcomed by a delegation of government officials led by General Abubakar Jeje Odongo, Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Later, President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed was received at State House in Entebbe by his host, President Yoweri Museveni, where they held talks which delved on cementing bilateral relations between Uganda and Somalia. President Museveni and his counterpart also held bilateral discussions on several issues, including ways of strengthening cooperation in key sector areas of common interest for the mutual benefit of both countries.
What I have been mentioning to the Somali leaders, starting with Sharif, then Farmajo, even the old man, I used to, when this problem started, and even when we sent our forces there, we thought we could repeat our experience here. And our experience was, the first level is political doctrine of patriotism and Pan-Africanism to convince the Ugandans, because the Ugandans were very sectarian. They were very sectarian with the religion, with the tribes. But as I told you, we started a student movement which challenged that sectarianism. And we showed them that sectarianism was wrong. So therefore, we created a followership of people who did not believe in the sectarianism. We created people who believed in Uganda and also Pan-Africanism. That's why you see the soldiers coming there to Somalia. They don't think, they see it as part of the Ugandan soldiers. They don't see that we are disturbing them. They see it as their duty. So once we created that followership, then the next question was, how do we fight the army of the government, which had money and so on. And our strategy was a volunteer army, followers of our ideology to volunteer to fight and build strength. So that's how we were able to build strength and eventually defeat the government army on patriotism, Pan-Africanism, ideologically, but also volunteer army, no salary. Because you see, if you, now when I came to Somalia, Sharif and Farman, they had introduced salary. How will you manage? Because you don't have, if you don't have a state, or you have a weak state, how will you get money to pay enough numbers? Because Somalia is a big country. It is 3 times the size of Uganda in land area. So you cannot control it with the numbers of 10,000, 20,000, even 40. I think Somalia may need a force of about 80,000, maybe. But how will you pay those if you don't have a state? So our hope was, and even now, I told these people that we can help Somalia to defeat these people. Uniform, we can buy. Even food we can share. But what we cannot manage is salary. Salary every month, or big number, we can't manage. So once you say salary, then you now go to UAE, they pay 1 month, then Qatar, I don't know what, Turkey, what? So when will these people get security? When will you get security? When you need security? If I'm a poor man, I don't have money, but I can defend my home. I can mobilize my son, my brother. We defend our home. Nobody is paying us. We want peace. So this is what I tell these people. I don't know whether they tell you when they come. Have you told? Did you tell for money? Yes. They don't tell. They hide. So really, this has always been my idea. And also I talked to my sister-in-law, Khadija, that why don't you mobilize Somali students? Mobilize them on a patriotic. Because now you are tied down with Hawiya, with the other group, Isaac. Darwin, Siad Bari, because even Uganda was like that. But we developed a student movement which had patriotism and Pan-Africanism. That's how we were able to create a new force. So I welcome Your Excellency, and I don't know what can be, because what you need is peace. You must get peace. You can't go like this. If you go like this, people will be fed up. And they can even support Al-Shabaab. As happened in Afghanistan. People were tired.
Yeah.
So you most welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President. It's a great honor.
The other one, if the Somalis agree that we support them to build a big army, but volunteer, not salary, to show that we fight with the clothes, with the weapons, with the food maybe. East Africa, like now we are operating in Congo, we are using our own money. Yeah. We have been there for more than half a year now. Almost a year now. You don't need it, because we actually we even share with the Congolese food and so on. But the strategic mistake is the salary to get the idea of salary when you don't have means, you don't have the country. You are just in Mogadishu. The country is like that time when we started, only Mogadishu.
A small part.
A small part. The payment from where now? It's a big strategic mistake. If we did that, we didn't even need the EU and all this. You say bye-bye, and then they will fear. So you go. We shall liberate Somalia by ourselves. Because that's how when we fought Idi Amin, 1979, 78. I trained 28 fighters in Mozambique. 28. 1976, 78. Then when the war started with the Tanzanian army, I came with those to the border, and I recruited 9,000. So by the time of the collapse of Idi Amin, I had a force of 9,000 from the 28. And the Tanzanians were just giving us food, uniform, and for them they were getting salary because they had the government. But for us, all we wanted was food and uniform, and a gun, and ammunition, and some medicine. So we were able to defeat Idi Amin, but the political problems were not solved, so we went back to fight. So this time we were on our own, no support from outside. And we started with 27 guns. But by the time we captured Kampala, we had 20,000 fighters. So this idea of ideological and strategic, you must get it right, otherwise you can. After I was telling His Excellency that Al-Shabaab is very weak. Because if it was not weak, you give them all this time, they would be such a big force that you wouldn't manage them. But they are nothing. From what I hear, His Excellency was telling me they are now like something. But that's nothing. After 20 years, after 20 years, it will be 500,000. But they also have the wrong idea because they also pay. Yes. They don't have ideological soldiers. They talk of ideology, but they don't have ideological soldiers. They have very few of them. They have mercenary pay. So that means if you eat their money, then they'll have no manpower.
To seek opportunities in many of our competitive industries, including agriculture, fisheries, service sector, and many more. With the largest coastline in mainland Africa, Somalia has the potential to cover the fish demands of Uganda at a reasonable rate. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I'm convinced that there are no limitations to what we can accomplish together through partnership and cooperation. Somalia-Uganda Partnership Summit presents an opportunity for us to reflect on our partnership while also using lessons learned to build on our future aspirations, particularly from your experience here in Uganda. Your Excellency, we thank Ugandan government, which you so ably lead to providing educational opportunity to thousands of Somali students across your country. I hope we can build on